What's up, guys? My name is Wes. This is Piece Parts. This video we're getting back to Cinnamon. So we're going to be putting this new subframe that I got. We're going to be putting this into that car. So that's the goal for today's video. We've got quite a few things to disconnect and get out of the way before we can actually put this new thing in. My plan of attack right now is going to be to leave this rack on here, take the rack out of Cinnamon, and we'll realign the steering wheel onto the rack and basically just be using all of this stuff on here. Even though I already replaced the new control arms on this side, I think I'm going to go ahead and just run these ones on here already, possibly just because I'm lazy. But then I'll just keep the old ones or the new ones as spares for if these bushings go out or you know, whatever else. So let's get into it. Okay, we got the tie rod ends off of the knuckle, got that one out, got the 4 bolts out that hold the rack in. I kind of changed my mind already. I'm going to go ahead and use this same rack in the car, and we're going to be taking the rack off of this subframe, which is what she's doing right now. I love it! Good. And so we're going to be using this rack mostly just because I can't get the rack off of the steering column there, so I'm just going to leave it there, and that way I don't have to mess with the steering wheel being different placed than the center of the rack, if that makes any sense. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this off of the subframe and kind of hold it up out of the way so that when we drop the subframe it should stay in place. And we want to disconnect the power steering lines, which, as you can see, this one's leaking already, but that's the return. I just need to put a new hose on there. And so we're using this rack right here and putting on my new tie rod ends that I got. In the alignment video, if you remember, I tore this boot and that one's all screwed up. So I got 2 new ones of those to put on, and then we should be good. So we got the rack apart. Next step is to get this sway bar out of here. Gotta get the end links off of each side, which I've got a new one for the passenger side because it's all torn up. So we'll get the sway bar out of the way, and then the struts, and we should be able to start getting the actual subframe loose from the car. So that's what we're going to do next. Nice rack, babe.
Thanks.
All right, so we got the sway bar off. I just took it off of the lower control arm there, and then we just rotated it out of the way, so you can see there. Out of the way, left the mounts on the actual car, and we should be able to have enough clearance there when we drop this whole subframe. So just gonna leave it like that, and then move on to the next. So let's try to get the struts out of there.
We watch the Wesley in his natural habitat struggling to remove motor mounts.
I got it. What are you talking about?
He just sounds like he's giving birth to a Miata. It's fine. You got it, babe?
I got it. It's fine.
It's good. Good. Can I do it now? Can I do it now that it's easy?
Yeah. Alright, so we got the strut off, we got the brake caliper disconnected. I just zip tied the hose up here with a paper towel to keep it from dripping everywhere, even though it already kind of did. There. And then we got the nut for the motor mount out. You can see it right there, that little nut. And same on the other side. So we got the strut bolt out there, the calipers off, there's the brake line, and the motor mount nut. So now next thing to do is to start breaking the subframe bolts loose. There's 2 there, 1 just behind that mounting point, 1 farther back, and then same on the other side. So those 8 bolts all together. All right, got the subframe out of there. We had a little bit of trouble. The motor mounts were kind of holding us up, but once we kind of jostled it around a little bit, we got them out of the way. I ran a wire around the rack there, and I don't think what I called it, and strung it up here so that it's staying up out of the way. Then next thing we got to do. So this is the old rack here. It's a little dirtier than the new one. And as you can see over here, now it's kind of hard to see, that weld right in there is cracked off of the actual subframe, and these ears are all bent. You can see they're kind of wavy. So this one is all good, thankfully, so we're going to use this one instead. So now we got to put this one in there. So let's do that. Alright, we got the old subframe out over there. We got the new subframe over here on the dollies ready to put in. We put the new motor mounts on either side, the new tie rod ends on either side, and the new sway bar link on that side. So, I think we're ready to put it in, and gonna just kind of jack it up and wiggle it in place and try to wing it. So, let's see how it goes. All right, so we got the new subframe in there. It wasn't too bad. We did have a little bit of trouble getting it even close to the spot. What we ended up doing there, as you probably saw, was take and put 2 jacks under it. I was on one side and had Haley on the other side, and we both just kind of jacked up and kind of wiggled it way up until we got it kind of close with the front end, and then we put my bottle jack back there with a board across to get the back end up to where it's supposed to be, and then we were able to line up all the bolts and get it bolted in. So we got the 2 big bolts there. There's the farthest rear bolt, and then right up in there is the second to last bolt there. So there's the 4 on either side. We've got all 8 of them in there. Reusing the old rack, like I said earlier. Got the new tie rod ends there, the new sway bar link on this side. Got the new motor mounts inside there. So we should be good to go. All right, things left to do. We've got the brake calipers hooked up on either side. Got the hoses connected to them. All we need to do with those is bleed them. We have the new pads and rotors that we'll throw on in the next video. And then after that, the only other thing really to do is to throw the wheels on and see how she goes. Alright guys, so this episode was a huge one for us. We got the new subframe in, and it's going to be way better than using this one. I did feel kind of sketchy about using this one because it is so beat up, and a couple of the welds were kind of broken on this, so I feel much better about getting that new one in there. We got a few things to button up on it. We got to put the new brake pads and rotors on there and bleed the brakes after we get those on there. And then after that, the next thing we're going to be doing is installing some more new parts. So we've got basically a whole tune-up for it. I got plugs, wires, air filter, fuel filter, oil filter. We've got some oil. So next episode is going to be some more basic maintenance kind of stuff before we actually get it out on the road. But that's going to be pretty much it for now. So I want to give a huge, huge, huge shout out to my girlfriend Haley. She was very helpful in this video. Together we spent about 4.5 hours doing the subframe, so I really appreciate her helping me out, and hopefully you guys will see her again later on. And so we also got our official Kansas plate for it, SINAMON, like the project says. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I really appreciate it if you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Helps out a whole lot. So till next time, peace out. Getting the workout in.